Okay, since everybody's already here, there's a bunch of you in here. Might as well get the party started. We could sit and talk for a bit. And I forget to do my introduction every time. Hi everyone, it's Saturday morning. I'm Leslie Ohnstad, creator of ColourArte Products, and I'm your host of ColorPlay Live, 3 days a week, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. I'm at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I'm at, what? All of a sudden an ad just came up, so now I can't see what you guys are saying. This is ridiculous. Come on, get past this ad. Yeah, I never ended up paying for the free YouTube thing, so ads pop up all the time. Give me 1 second. Let me get past this ad. Please let me see what you guys are saying. There we go. Now, if someone would just say something in the chat. Oh, why is it not doing this? Every single time we start, it's like I need to start a little early. It does this every time. It like takes the chat away. You can see me playing with this thing right now. It takes the chat away. And then the whole point of doing this is so I can see you, right? It's the whole point of this. But if I go right back in as a brand new instance, there we are, Miss Sandy Sanders. I see your last thingy here. Thumbs up, thumbs. Everything saws extra now for no ads. You're right, Catherine, for the no ads. Ooh, looks like someone just joined us. Jasmine's here. She's a funny little kitty. I mean, when I got Harley and her, I kept him in my bedroom for months, a few months, bonding with them, because I had 2 other cats. And now I'm like Mama Bear. They follow me from room to room. So, all right. So, hi, Cindy. How are you, young lady? Cindy Brenzi. Did I pronounce that right? Brenzi? Good morning, D. Lee. Good morning, Pab Dabney. Marjorie Barnes. Yeah, I started a couple minutes early, so I'm going to wait until exactly our time. We got about 2 more minutes. How's everybody doing? Catherine, you're right. They follow me from room to room going, what are you doing now, Mommy? Boy, the most exciting part of the day is if DoorDash happens to deliver something. Oh my God, they're like all over curious what's in the bag. So obviously I've spoiled them. It's my fault I spoiled the babies. So how's everybody doing? How is everybody doing? I am feeling much better every day. Tuesday and Wednesday would have been was the worst. Okay. So last night, oh, she's gone already. She's just here and then gone. She's so used to having her celebrity. So last night, Fairy Art Mother, Judy, had said, you know what, you might as well just resin over that thing. And people want to see what it looks like resined, right? That piece we did yesterday. And I came in and looked at it exactly in the, hi, who just said hi there? Hello, Lou McDonald, nice to see you. Sheldon, how are you, sir? Good morning, good morning. Sheldon Briscoe's in the house. If you guys have not seen his channel, you need to go visit his channel. The guy's an amazing artist and chef. Someday, Sheldon, you're going to teach us how to do the fruit art or vegetable art, or I know there's a technical term and you're going to correct me, but I mean, I bow to the chefs of the world that make our food beautiful and wonderful and pretty to look at. So he is truly an artist. All right, so I went to look at this stuff, and last night thinking, maybe Judy's right. Maybe I should top coat it for you. And what's interesting is the opal effects. I think I kept saying, oh, I need more of that peach color. Oh, it was sweet pea that I was putting in there. To kind of hold on, fruit carving, there we go. To hold on, Sheldon's right. Sheldon said fruit carving, that is correct term. But it's I mean, I'm sure there's competitions because the work is incredible. Anyway, when I went to look at this, I remember saying to myself in the video, oh, I need more of that sweet pea color so it could hold all those interferences we're putting in. Not exactly. Some of it dropped. But remember I told you about something called tack time? And when the resin, and this is 7 hours into it, okay? I'm building up to this piece because I love how it turned out last night, but when it's at that 7 to 9 hour mark, okay, can you see that gold? Hey, Michelle D, how you doing, sweetheart? That's permanent. That's part of it. That's not coming off. Hey, Judy, Fairy Art Mother's in the house. So what happens is when you're rubbing on the interference during the tack period, the resin grabs that interference. I'm doing better. Thank you, sweetheart. It grabs the interference and the interference becomes part of the resin finish. It cannot rub off. It's part of it, right? Which means, and I only poured these really thin. So the idea would be, see how that's coming through? So no matter what I put on the back of this to make this interesting, this was kind of like a test, right? It's permanently part of that finish. And hey, Barbara Ambrose, nice to see you, sweetheart. Now, I tried to use the larger Harvest Fire up here, that color that I had rubbed in like a pastel on our piece. But see, you can see how large the particulates are, or it's a larger particulate, right? Hey, Andrea. So you're not really going to get that heavy duty, strong interference when you're using a larger particulate. You're going to get, and I'm going to try this really slow, the big pieces will hold, but because there's going to be a lot of space between them. See if you can see that. Okay, so here is our piece that we struggled with. This part was kind of milky yesterday. I covered it with more, with more clear art resin, but look at this. I am so darn happy. That's that golden maple. This is golden maple too, and some of the other color swiped over it had stained the golden maple to that kind of orangey red, right? It does, John. That is a beautiful technique, and it's definitely something we want to do more. But because this top is kind of milky and ruined, this is more of a test piece. And this, you know, this is that part that I hand painted in her to try to match the color. Didn't turn out too bad, but right here, here's my thought. If we could purposely swipe, I love what the dancing fuchsia did with that gold. Can you see the dancing fuchsia mixing with that pinky gold color? It looks like pieces of gold leaf kind of floating in there, right? So here's my thought. If we could actually take a little thinking, intentionally swipe in areas that may add centers to a cluster of these things, like make sure that each one of them, because I love how that gold and those colors are in there. Or in the case of the dragonfly wing, because the wings lend themselves to those cool little cellage, if there's a way to swipe, I have to think about how I'm going to lay it out. but I would literally be doing a swipe with the intention of knowing that the dragonfly wings are going to become part of that. Okay, here's the piece I've been waiting to show you guys since last night. I'm so excited because even though my little opal drops fell, or my opal fell, look what happened here when I rubbed on the color and the tack time. So each one of these sections, you can see the blue and a little bit of gold. So I saved it, even though I lost some of my opal effect from drawing that in there, right? I still was able to come back and salvage it with highlights here and there all the way up. And as a matter of fact, in one section, I think it's right here in the top, I experimented with that harvest fire. Right, it tried to level out, but remember, see how dimensional this looks? Because we let it set for almost an hour and a half, right? So now when I put the resin over the top of this thing, it's gonna be gorgeous. All right, so I've made a decision, and this is a pretty big one for me. I've been working on this piece forever. You guys have seen me do layer 1 in the cornucopia event, layer 2 we just did last week. I know this is a big thing to chew, but I think I'm gonna do the same treatment here, but in different colors, okay? So I think what I'm gonna do first is get a layer of resin on the top of this, finish this off, set it aside, right? And then we'll start working on getting the, no, I think I'm gonna do it the other way around. I think I'll put the texture here on this big piece. And then when we're done, right, we'll be doing a top coat of resin on everything. But again, here's that lacing that I was talking about. Had I swiped in a different direction, that pattern right there would be fabulous in dragonfly wings. Don't you agree, Mr. Shellrock, Sheldon Briscoe? Those tiny little cells lend themselves. Now this is going to be pretty with resin. I'm in love with this piece. Yeah. And those little even bits of harvest fire that's in there. Okay. Hey, Sharon. Welcome. Good morning. So we're showing what we did yesterday. And I ended up having to use the tack period to add the highlights back in that were lost in my opal drips. So I think in this round, again, this is a big piece. It may require me standing a bit, which I'm not really that comfortable with right now because of my wonderful little accident. I will use my handy dandy notebook here to try to help lift it up. My resin was mixed. Let's see, what time is it? Almost an hour and a half ago. So don't stand up, Leslie. I'm gonna have to stand up a little bit just because this board's kind of big. You know, I'll do my best, but I think I'm gonna start at the top, but I'll be flipping them around. So in order for me to get to the top part, we'll be doing it on this end so I don't have to stand. I got to be really careful that I'm not knocking my little, all that is a canvas back there, keeping you guys from seeing the rest of my living room. All right. So let's get mixing up some resin because like I said, we're at what timing on this? Hour and a half? Oh yeah. Look, I put it in 3 cups. All right, actually change of plan. I'm gonna do the top coat on that other one first because it's thick. It's thickening. We'll just have to find a place to put this while I do the other piece. So I think it'd be smart to get the top coat thing on this right now while we can. Let me move a couple things around so I have someplace right next to me that it can sit and dry flat. So Judy warned me that the resin isn't all going to dry at the exact same rate. And she's right. But I'm moving off a complete section next to me. I apologize, guys. Okay, now I've got a section next to me that I can just transfer this straight over. Let's get some resin on this first because it's thicker. This is pretty getting thick. And oops, John's right. Remember yesterday he reminded me about taping off my edges. So if you're gonna resin and do a top coat, you need to protect the sides. And give me a second, I'm gonna just kind of do this in my lap really quick. It's gonna be a lot faster than me trying to show you how to tape the sides on camera. You can see my face when I'm doing this. Yeah, as I turned it and I stirred it, it's starting to thicken up, which is nice, but I don't want to sit and do an hour of decorative work on that other one and then blow the chance to top coat this piece we have ready. And I have the resin for it, so why not? Let's just do this thing. I think the tape looks kind of ugly, so I wanted to show you what the piece looked like without the tape on it, so I apologize for taping as we're going, but it looks so pretty all on its own. Okay, so I think one more little piece of tape. This edge doesn't look tight. Now, why am I taping it up? Well, first of all, we don't want the drips to drop directly to the bottom, right? It would make a big mess. And then you have all this resin dripping everywhere. Then you feel like you have to sand it, sand the edges, right? You don't like to resin on what side? What side? What side, hon? What do you mean? No, you will. So what you do is you set this up because the resin's funny, Cindy. It has it. I know what she's talking about. Resin has a tendency to do this, and then it levels out and kind of goes in again. If you fill it all the way up to make sure it's in the edges, then let it wait about 2 to 3 hours. Don't let it wait all 24 because I made the mistake of doing that, and then you're sanding again. You get these really rigid edges here. But if you wait a couple hours, right, Cindy, and then you pull the tape off, it will flow over slightly on the edges. If it's done at the perfect time, it just goes over slightly and your edges are still clean that you can paint. And then of course do another layer of resin you want to, but Fairy Art Mother's right. Okay, I'm trying to figure out which way I want to do this. All right, let's get some resin in here. Get all this out of here. Yeah, I'll try not to stand up, John. But if I have to, I have to. I'm way better off than I was on Tuesday. Tuesday, I just wanted to rip my face off. It hurt so bad. And Wednesday, I was just sore, felt like I was hit by a truck. And thank goodness Thursday, I was able to do the bank run just fine. I'm gonna pop our bubbles. We should have a wedge right here. Yep. I know these are not typically used for this, but you can also use these silicone wedges to spread your color. I mean, your resin. I think I need a little bit more in here. And maybe I need to heat it up just a little bit more. Bear with me. I know I'm getting quiet, guys. I'm just trying to make sure this is completely covered. I can always put a second coat on. The purpose of this coat is to kind of lock in that base layer. And what I put on top, I'll end up putting another coat on. Oh, art resin. I'm using art resin. Barbara asked me what brand or resin I'm using. Yeah, I had some tools here they use for hair coloring, and I think they're sitting, of course, across the room where I can't go pick them up right now and use them. I forgot to bring them in here, but I will eventually do the old put on a glove and spread it with my hand, but this is going to kind of get it in each of the little corners first. I think I need more resin. Good thing I mixed up more. Yeah, the hair coloring tools are great for this. They've got a silicone tip on them, right? The only thing is they don't stay on the tip very well. I've had that silicone piece pull off when you're not careful. So, yeah, there's that. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and go for the full-blown glove. I know it's messy. I don't like messy. And yet I love playing with this resin, so. I have issues, right? I'm trying to put this glove on, guys. I'm trying to put another glove on. Kind of wish I'd done this first to where I can use this to spread it around. Man. I know, there's not much in it. I see my cup. I know the cup fell over. I'm having troubles getting this other glove on. It won't go on over the other glove. Can't get the finger in the hole. That's really life's most embarrassing moment on camera, right? The glove won't go on. But to really do this right, oh, come on, Leslie. How hard can this be, guys? I've never had this much trouble in my life. What the heck? Judy always said to put the extra gloves on first before you started. Okay, this is going to seem really weird, but even with my fingers there, I'm just going to sit and take the time and rub this everywhere. I know it's setting up already. I can see it. I just want to make sure that our wedgie did its thing. I already got that glove off now. By the way, this is fresh resin. I mean, it's a brand new bottle. No, it's not a quick set. Well, maybe I shouldn't have mixed it up so far in advance, guys, but I really want it thick. Now here it's coming flowing. I really want it thick on the gradient. Oh, now it's flowing really smooth like glass. There we go. There we go. If I miss anything, I can always put another coat on, right? This is the beauty of lives, everybody. All right, now that's looking good. I'm a little bit happier with that one. Let's see, we have it covered here, yeah. Because it does level out, it is self-leveling. Even when it was really thick in those molds, yeah, see, it's dripping just right now. Okay, now let's see if you guys can see any of this. Hey there, Evie. Everybody's watching me struggle with this. The cool thing with being it thick, you're gonna get to see how sparkly all this is. And normally once you're resin it, like you can't pick it up, okay? So we've got a nice coat on there. Oh, I missed one little spot here. See, this is the thing. You want to get all your corners, Cindy. Then you can always pull off the tape, right? And the resin will run right down those sides. So my little sweeping texture that I added yesterday is what's causing a little challenge of getting this completely covered. Everybody's making comments, but I can't read what anybody's saying just yet. I got to get this finished. All right, I like it. I'm going to set it aside. Let's get this off camera in a safe spot. Let's put the gradient back up and get mixing quickly because we know we have a limited time on this. Ah. You guys are so sweet. Okay, let's mix up some color. I know I want to play with the sun-kissed pink, the burnt orange, the sun-kissed pink from the metallics. Where is it? I think it ended up in the wrong box. This is a version of it. Now this is that one that it was too bad Princess Jasmina's mama's not on here. This was that happy accident where I had a little my papaya and I ended up, this is burnt orange. I ended up putting a bunch of interference violet in this and it's like a really beautiful lighter version of the sun-kissed pink. It's kind of a handmade with a bunch of interference in there. I'm also going to revisit the bleeding heart that we used to make this piece. Yeah, sun-kissed pink, you are correct. I think I can get away with using that sweet pea, but I don't have a lot of time. Remember what happened last time when all my resin seized up on me? This is getting thick, so I'm going to pour these out in the cups now. Get this started, pick a couple colors that we're going to go right down the list with, and I'm not going to screw around with too many colors. And like I said, I put it in 3 cups, Judy, so we wouldn't have that thermal. There's some sort of thermal hydro thing happens if all the resin is in the same cup. It heats up faster. I'm sure Judy or John could probably give us the technical term for it. It's a thermal something, when it all goes off. Flash cure, okay. There's a technical term for when it does that though, right? Technical term. That's got quite a bit of resin still left in there. Let's see if I can get something with a I don't like that curl in that stick. I want everything out of this. What kind of resin do you need to add color to? Almost any resin out there, right? UV resin's the only one that has some tricks with adding color because it won't set up right if you put too much pigments in UV resin. That's what I've heard. Okay, so let's do the primary element color first. And then we got our resin cups ready. Okay, let's get this bleeding heart. This is that color that has some harvest fire in it. We use this as part of the gradient. So I'm going to add that as a cloud color along with the sweet pea. What's a waste of resin? Have we wasted resin somewhere? Hope we haven't wasted resin somewhere. I hate to waste anything, but it has happened before, especially when that resin went off. So I'm going to eyeball this. I know I should be showing you to measure it. Yeah, flash cure is a waste. So just a couple drops of Vivid Art fluid in the bleeding heart and the sweet pea. As I got to work quick now. This stuff's actually setting up and I'm worried about it setting up too quick. So let's get that sweet pea mixed up like we did yesterday. Vivid Art fluid mixed with the primary elements. I saw a lady yesterday trying to show people how to make their own pastes, and she was using primary elements, and I wanted so badly to tell her primary elements will not break down in that resin. She was actually using a mortar and pestle breaking down the aubergine. I already messaged her because if she put just a bit of the Vivid Art fluid in it first, that aubergine color would have pop. I mean, it would have really popped, right? Who's roasting peppers? I love roasting peppers. Who doesn't love roasting peppers? Especially if you barbecue them. Put them on the grill, baby. Oof. Okay, so we know we're going to use some interference blue to get our special effect. Again, I'm doing a really hurried version of this. I'm just going to take a spoonful of the blue and a scoop of my gold. One color we didn't put in our droplets yesterday was the violet. We used that green. Today I'm going to add the violet. You guys are being awfully patient and awfully quiet. Thank you. Still a learning curve on what can be done in a live and what won't work in a live. My humble opinion. Okay, and then this harvest fire, I'm going to, it's a lot in this cup. I love rubbing that on as a treatment, but I'm also going to mix some up as a color. Now, this is a bling it. That's not a pure primary element. It's not a resin art. It's a bling it. It's a pure mineral in the bling it family. Okay, then one other color we really need, something to handle the blues down there. I know. Do I do the mermaid scales again? I'm thinking something. Okay, so here is the, wow, it's getting thick. This is that bleeding heart. This is the sweet pea. I'll do the treatment as long as I can, guys. We'll make this go as far as you can. What I should have done, John, is did my 1.5 hours and then had another small batch that maybe I mixed just an hour ahead of time, because then I'd have a good extra half-hour to play. Right. What did John say? And everybody's agreeing with him. If you make up a large amount after mixing it, I did. I poured them into 3 little cups, but then they still have a lot of time on this. These have sat for, okay, to make this harvest fire so stinking pretty. I know everybody's right. I can see everybody's comments. I'm going to work as fast as I can. I know this is a really big piece. I think the one with the interference violet, I'm going to go ahead and add this handmade sun-kissed pink color to. Oh, come on, buddy. Give me a full dropper full. It's not, my dropper's not behaving. Can I just say I have a really love-hate relationship with these droppers? I do have a backup over here in case one fails me. I just think, there we go. There's some color in there. Woohoo! There's a little color. And then the burnt orange. I know it's going to sound a little nutso, but I think I want to put that burnt orange in this harvest fire. Or if I got I do have enough resin. Let's do it all by itself. Let's do it separate. We might as well go for it all the way. Leslie just has to work against time to make this work. And John, I may have to stand up for part of this. I may have no choice. So, yeah, but when I mix this up, I put them in 3 separate cups. Let's get down the line. Okay, so we got the bleeding heart, the sweet pea. I've got my interference violet. Wow, guys, I'm running out of time. Don't tell me this is happening again. And this was with regular resin. Dagnabbit. Sure, you guys are going through the same thing I'm going through. The droppers are really tricky. You kind of have to pull it up before you even open up the darn cup. Oh, wow. That's pretty in there. Okay, let's get started. I have way too many colors to do this. I know. I can hear everybody in my head going, what are you doing, Leslie? I'm going to flip this over. Start on the top. We know this color is going to be beautiful. Scooch these guys over. We need a slightly bigger popsicle stick so we can do the whole thing. Okay, section 1, I'm just going to start right here, adding it in there. No matter what, this is going to add way more dimension to this piece than just the flat varnish lines, right? And we already know what this is going to do, so I don't have to keep going back and forth and say, ooh, look how it's creating dimension. I'm just going to get this down really quick. Imagine you were me sitting in my seat dealing with this, right? What would you do? What would you do? Okay, next one, I'm going to grab that blushing. It'll be really pretty as long as we can get this down quick enough. Here is the that color from the Be Mine set. I'll look it up in a minute, but we're going to go over here. Now, I know it's dark on dark. Here, let me get this bigger. This is going to give me a lot more paint to lay out. No, actually, this one is Bleeding Heart, Sheldon. But close, really close to say Fireworks, honey. Really close to say Fireworks. Okay, I really want to see what this burnt orange does. I have like an orange area here. I know you guys are all talking to each other. I can't really look on the edge of my seat racing. Yeah, we are racing against time, literally, Dee. Racing against time. I don't have much of this light color left, but I do have this color over here. Wait a minute. Maybe that was the sweet pea with the, this might be the sweet pea, or is this the interference with the sun-kissed pink? I don't know. You know, this was my cornucopia piece in January or last year in the fall piece. Layer one was. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Now here is just the pure Harvest Fire. Again, we're at another peachy color. Oh, I'm loving that. Oh, I wish I had more of that made. Oof, look at how pretty this is. This is gorgeous. Come on, buddy. Let me do my thing. I can't believe we're racing against time again. Oh, I could do an entire bathtub of this. Wow. I'm going to put this in that transition area. I'm getting way down there where I almost need to stand, but I'm going to do my best to stretch before we flip this thing over. Oh, you guys are really good sports. Oh my God. Okay. I'm gonna try to do a flippy dippy here, a flippy switch. Oh, wow, those are really pretty. See what it looks like from this angle. Just take a clean stick and kind of say, I like how uneven they are. I like that they're not perfect. No sky is, actually. But just so it looks a little bit more balanced. Hey, Dee. All I know is the colors beneath this that we varnished are positively going to be gorgeous when they lift up. Now, I did not make any dark colors, so we're going to live with the light pink and the oranges that I made on this thing. We'll see how weird it looks or doesn't look once it's set up. Back to that stunning, absolutely stunning harvest fire. My God. I can't believe how gorgeous this color is. And I know it probably looks a little strange on this blue, but if I can get it down, then I can kind of work it to try to see if there's any shape I want to add. Do we want to string it further along to the right or to the left? I was going to make up some of the teals, but as soon as I realized we didn't have the time to do that, pardon me? What are you asking, Cindy? Why didn't I paint these in? Well, actually, my first intention before we did this treatment yesterday was to tape off areas, and I was going to do glass clouds. I thought I might do it with gel medium mixed with the primer elements, because you can make like a beautiful dimensional paint. It dries with kind of an abalone shell sheen, but once I saw what this resin did, I knew I had to do this, Cindy. And because the resin's setting up on us so quickly, I don't have a lot of luxury. But I can go over this and try to create some and having them thin and skinny, they look like the gas clouds that come across the sky. At least they do to me. So I got a little more of this weird burnt orange color here. I think to put some balance in here, I'm going to lay some of this burnt orange up here. And now that I've got it all down, Cindy, I can kind of spread these a little bit more with a stick. I know, the resin went off. So instead of mixing it up an hour and a half ahead of time, I'll do what I did yesterday, mix up the resin only an hour ahead of the event. Because I had plenty of time after an hour and a half. Fairy Art Mother warned me that not every batch is going to react that way because of the conditions. Okay, so we haven't used these golds, these interference gold. I'm going to see what I can do to streak some of this in here, like we did yesterday. Some of the gold and some of that blue. Okay, these, I'm not getting enough wrist action here. I'm going to move these cups out of the way. Okay, my alarm went off. Hopefully you didn't get too much of a delay in the broadcast. It was reminding me of some kind of timed event. Obviously not what we're doing because we're already in here. Let's add some of this interference gold along here. Come on, buddy, let me in. I got the major lines down. I'm going to be able to flip this over one more time. Work on this end. Get my gold in here. Get some interference gold in this. Well, we might have, Dee, you may be lucky that we sat on the edge of our seat because it looks like we're barely having time to do this. It's still coming off my stick, which makes me happy. And I will say, the thicker this is the tricky part. This stuff we're putting on top may not drop like the blue and gold did in the last one. And just making lines, trying to get dimension out of time. Okay. Still trying to understand what you were asking me, honey. But, yeah. So let's get a little bit of this blue in here. The gold and blue on top of each other is what creates this opal effect. Okay, let's get a little gold. Oh, God, that harvest fire is sparkling like crazy. This color drives me nuts. So I'm trying to put the line right dead center in the middle of the harvest fire. I'll heat this so it kind of relaxes into itself when we're done. Yes, we are painting with resin today, aren't we? Better me than you experimenting like this, you guys. And I'm not seeing anybody comment, so you're either watching, cooking. Somebody said they were cooking or cleaning while they were watching this. Add some blue to these two sections. Get that blue dropped in there. The blue over the gold is what creates the opal effect. And if you can get it to, thank you, Catherine, if we can get it to stand on top of it and not sink in. And then it's risky because I'm trying to do a big board. This is about not quite twice the size as the other one. Lunch just finished. Lunch just got there and it's yummy, or lunch just finished and it's yummy? Let's add a little blue on top of this gold. Yeah, Cindy, I had a little bit more time yesterday to kind of say, okay, I'm going to do a skinny on this end, and it's fat and it ends up skinny. And then, the design. I had more time to actually think about my design. And now I'm realizing we have a little bit more time than we thought. Even though it's thick, it's not seizing up like that quick coat. It's just thicker. This would be perfect to be doing those droplets in the drops. They would maintain their shape. Come on, let's get this little gold line back here. We got a little interesting thing where it's come back in on this side, and I think that's kind of trippy there right here. Why not? We're just going to kind of go with the artistic flow here. Again, my goal for 24 is follow through. If I started something, finish it. Now the piece with the ginkgo, we've kind of hit a wall. We can't do anything about that piece that's milky on top. Even if I tried to sand it down, it's not going to look as pretty as the other two ginkgo leaves. But it's a great test board to get us started. you know, knowing what we want to do. And if I was to swipe, see, a spin or a bloom may give you those patterns, and Shell Rock, Mr. Sheldon, can attest to that because he's practiced more at the blooms than I have. I kind of gave up on the blooms years ago. I didn't give up because I wanted to give up. The person who came out with the technique, she was buying our pigments from us at the time. And she said, how long do I have before you share the recipe? And I really shouldn't have said this. I gave her a year. I mean, it was her class. I didn't want to blow the deal. Let her make all that money. That's her asset. She spent all that time to design that class. But then that meant me, I mistakenly, and I did this to myself, it's nobody else's fault but me, I stopped practicing the blooms. I wasn't going to show anybody for a year, right? I wasn't even going to talk about the cell activator or how you make your colors. So, you know, she wanted to have the opportunity to sell her class and have people learn from her. But as a result, I'm rusty. I feel really rusty when it comes to the blooms. And yeah, this is looking a tiny bit sloppy. I apologize, guys. I'm going to flip it over one more time. That's not looking too horrible, but they're looking too uniform. So here's the deal. When I was doing the other one the other day, I kind of went, okay, fat spot, skinny spot, and this runs off here. But we've got too many fat spots kind of in the middle. Can I make it to where it's a little bit more random? I mean, I like that the colors are varied and they're, yeah, we got the blue and the gold in this one. I got to do the bottom half the same way. We do have to swap these one more time. My notes last session were insane, but I understand how to make that blend. What blend? You have notes from last session? Wow. I'm impressed. Well, we know it'll work at an hour and a half, just barely. But I'm a little worried about how, I'm just going to go all the way in here on this bottom one. Where's that gold? Is this the gold? This is all I have left of that gold. Okay. I want something darker down here, but I don't want it to look like, I don't know. Should I put something down here or leave it alone? I might have enough on here. Now it's just more of, boy, if I was standing up and looking at this thing. I'm going to stand up, John. You told me not to stand, but I got to look at this kind of top down and see if it's random enough. So, I mean, this goes fat to fat to fat. I kind of want to push this in a little bit and string it out. And then pull this out all the way here so it becomes skinny. This looks not too bad. I'm kind of like these reds on top of the reds because they're going to be really subtle. All right, well, it looks like I'm missing the blue on this one. See if it takes the blue. And this is really thick now, guys. Okay, I'm getting off camera here. You can't see where I'm going with this last little popsicle stick on the tip. I just kind of went on the tip. Okay. It's a little sloppy, but I think once the whole thing is poured, it'll look like it belongs. I do, oops, sorry, you can't see me. I do like, I just took the camera off. I do kind of like what's happening here, where it's sort of really subtly blending in, but then you see that pop of blue and gold. This looks a little bit fat and sloppy to me. See if I can't literally scrape it down, and there we go. Fine tune that out. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna put the foam back on the thingy here. This is gonna be tricky. Trying to sit. You guys are very, 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 very patient. Trying to sit. Put the camera back in its cradle. There we go, orientation's back. Okay, I'm actually, where am I gonna set this thing? I need to set this back out of the way. It's too big. Because I had one more little thing I wanted to do. And I have all these colors set up, even though it's really messy here. I'm looking for something that I can lay down that will give us a clean surface here that I can work on. What I'm talking about is these hearts, and I have one of them here. I just wanted to experiment. I'll use the blue as the base, okay? I know this is nuts. So this is a mold, right? That I poured part of the face on. Now I'm putting on some of this interference blue. And then, I don't know if this is gonna work or not. I wanna drop some of the purely pigment. Oh, do I want plum? Lavender. That's the color I want, is the lavender rose. There's elderberry. Well, there's the ruby. Maybe I'm not supposed to get my hands on. All right, here's dancing fuchsia. Because what I've seen him do, I love lavender rose, just have to find it. What we've seen Daniel do is he takes one drop of alcohol ink, but it spreads out, right? And I don't know what this is gonna do. I kind of want to turn this into a little, there's two of those, right? And then what he does is he stirs them around, but he's got a little round planet to begin with, right? So he drops that alcohol ink to make a round planet, right? Then he takes the Cabernet is going to be an aubergine. Let's do the elderberry because it'll be a blue. Just one drop of the elderberry blue on each side, okay? And will it stir for us in that resin? He does this. See how tacky that is? But I'm wondering, will that show through? Yes, if we did this treatment with clear and it wasn't interference blue, I just wanted to try this before we have to go. I have those big molds I showed you. And I know there's not enough resin in here to do much of a pattern, but since I have some resin left, and we all hate wasting resin. Again, I don't know if there's enough here worth saving. I'm trying to get it out of here. Now that was the metallic, and because of the varnish reacting, I wasn't how this was gonna react versus putting in a regular purely pigment. Let me see if I can get this to soften up. Again, this is just simply an experiment while the stuff's thick to see what it will do. Hopefully that's going to soften up that resin a bit. Get a little spoon here to move that around. There we go. Again, it's just to see if it's going to swirl the galaxy thing that he does. Now, we do have more resin here, but I don't know if any of it's actually going to work. So before we run out of time. So you like elderberry, huh, John? It's good to know. It's a good color. Okay, let's try some black plum. Now this, you should try Smoosh. Okay. Now this is black plum. And now to smooth out the black plum, this will work. This little spoon will smooth it out, right? Will it stir up? I don't know if it'll stir. It looks like it's gonna try to, but that stuff may be too strong. I really want to get some of this in Daniel's hands, Daniel Cooper's hands, and see what he would do. Because we know for a fact it's gonna work. It's just him testing that pure color out. Probably needs to be mixed. Smush the hearts. I don't know what you mean by smush, guys. I don't know what smushing means. You mean push this together? Smush these together like this? When you say smush the hearts, I'm liking that little cast that we're getting. Yeah, but will I be able to pull them off? You mean this? Smush them together? Sure, guys. Okay. It's just gonna put more purple on the back. I don't see much smushing happening. But I did pull it out. It's out. It's in my hand. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. I mean, this is what comes close to someone telling Tammy Anderson to pop the balloon as she was doing the bubbling. Pop the balloon. So where the heck are my paper towels? I need something to clean up with. Because when I smushed it, that means the whole front of this thing. Thank you, sweetheart. whole front of this thing has resin on it I don't want on it, right? When by smushing it together, I've transferred some color on the front that needs to be wiped off now. No, I'm not hitting this with some heat, honey. I already hit it with heat. So, yeah. It's been heated and treated and beaten and everything else. So, I have an announcement for you guys. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to do a special live. We'll be at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that's 2 p.m. for you East Coast folks. We'll be doing the reveal. I will when I have clear resin, Sheldon, but we're done with the resin we had mixed up. It's all been used. Tomorrow we're going to do a reveal on the next Purely Pigment colors. And I'll be doing some color mixing. There may be another pop quiz. Love making mud pies. That I, sadly, being down for the count on Tuesday and Wednesday, I was hoping to show you guys the samples today, but they are not ready yet. I'll be sending the recipes to the lab on Monday morning. They will be up on sale on Monday. I will have a special bonus to go with it, like when we did the original 10-piece set.